Shall we start now?
Sir, we are waiting for our principal, sir. Sir will join, sir, with a fraction of seconds.
Okay, ma'am.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Sir, principal, sir.
Start.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. A warm welcome to respected speaker, principal sir, staff, students and participants to this webinar. Faculty of Pharmacy, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute is successfully organizing a series of national and international webinars and FDP with eminent speakers from all over the globe with the vision to intensify the intellectual wealth to the students, faculty, research scholar and industrial and pharmacy peoples. In continuation with the events, the Faculty of Pharmacy, Dr. MGR Education and Research Institute is organizing a national webinar which emphasizes the role and need of the current topic vaccines, conceptions and its productions by Dr. S. Jagannathan sir, Associate Research Officer, Pastoral Institute of India, Kunnur, the Nilgiris, Tamil Nadu. Harmonizations of licensing and regulating procedures for vaccines worldwide has important role in rapidly delivering the safe and effective vaccines to the market. Today's sessions will give the outline and the basics of the manufacturing of the vaccines and descriptions of currently licensed product. So let's gain the knowledge in extremely interesting topic regarding the vaccines. Now it's the time to move on the session. May I request our beloved Dr. S. Nandakumar sir, Professor, Faculty of Pharmacy, to deliver the welcome address. Thank you, sir. Nandakumar sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Dhanlakshmi madam, for your introduction. Respected principal sir, faculty members, participants, and dear students, very good afternoon. I feel privileged to present this welcome address on yet another webinar organized by Faculty of Pharmacy on vaccine conceptualization and production. One of the most sought and researched medical element in the past year is a vaccine for the COVID-19 disease. Most vaccines have been in use for decades, with millions of people receiving them safely every year. As with all medicines, even vaccine must go through extensive and rigorous testing to ensure it is safe before it can be introduced in a country's vaccine program. Since Edward Jenner's innovation and Louis Pasteur's discovery, vaccines have made an impact on human disease. During this pandemic, the knowledge and the awareness on vaccines among common public has tremendously grown. Yet there are unknown facts, myths, and misleading information prevailing about vaccines. I strongly believe that today's webinar will make us more informed about the vaccines. At this juncture, we would like to dedicate our heartfelt thanks and respect to our founder chancellor, Dr. A.C. Shanmugam sir, Honorable President Engineer Thiru A.C.S. Arunkumar sir, and Honorable Secretary Thiru A. Ravikumar sir, who has been the source of inspiration and support in all the prolific accomplishments of Faculty of Pharmacy. I extend my warm regards to our respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. S. Geethalakshmi madam, for all her guidance and support in our efforts. And I'm glad to welcome Dr. N. Harikrishnan, Principal, Faculty of Pharmacy, for the kind of support that he relentlessly provides us in every act of significance. He has been the motivating force for all of us in our actions. Welcome, sir. I would extend my warm welcome to today's speaker, Dr. S. Jagannathan, Assistant Research Officer, Pastoral Institute of India, Kunnur, Tamil Nadu, who will enlighten us on the topic vaccine conceptualization and production. I also take this opportunity to thank him for accepting our invitation to render this talk. I once again welcome everyone to this webinar and wish everyone a great learning experience. Thank you all. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. R. Sendilraj sir, Associate Professor, Faculty of Pharmacy, to introduce our respected speaker. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Dr. S. Jagannathan, Assistant Research Officer, Pastoral Institute of India, Kunnur, Nilgiris. Sir has completed his BSc in Zoology, University of Madras, and MSc in Molecular Biology from the same university, and MPA from Periyar University in 2009, and a postgraduate diploma in bioinformatics from Pardiyar University. And next, sir completed his PhD in microbiology from Bardiyar University in 2006 to 2014. And sir held a different post regarding from the year 1997 August, Field Assistant, National Institute of Nutrition, ICMR Hyderabad. And in May 1998, worked as Junior Research Fellow in the Department of APT, Madras Veterinary College, Tanvas, Chennai. And promoted to Senior Research Fellow in the Department of APT, Madras Veterinary College, Tanvas, Chennai. And worked as Research Assistant in Pasteur Institute of Kunnur from in March 2001. And next worked as a Senior Research Assistant in March 2006 and Assistant Research Officer in January 2007 onwards. And further promoted to Office in Charge Estate and Maintenance Department in August 2017. Next, Office in Charge in Tissue Culture and rabies vaccine productions from September 2018 onwards, and Office in Charge in Quality Control Stability Team from April 2020 onwards, and from April 2021 currently Section in Charge in Estate Department also. Some highlights of the new findings: the optimal quantity of cell culture media in the roller BET bottle for rabies virus productions, cell-fine sulfate purification of rabies viral protein, and Portella pertussis heat label toxin purification, nanovaccine formulations, sucrose sprinkling concentration of rabies viral protein. And sir done so many patents and published so many papers also, and written some chapters in the book regarding the biotechnology and immunology, and attended so many seminars, and also the members in World Rabies Day, organizing committee members in World Rabies Day celebration at Pasteur Institute of India, and as organizing member for industrial visitors trainer at Pasteur Institute of India, and the Nilgiris district secretary from 2009 to 2010 in Tamil Nadu Science Farm, and as a global speaker in vaccine under Omics International Journal Vaccines and Vaccination, and light member of Tamil Nadu Science Farm, and light member of Indian Association of Vaccinology and Immunologicals, and member of Society of Biological Chemists. I am welcoming you, sir, on behalf of Faculty of Pharmacy, Dr. S. Jagannathan, sir.
Thank you, sir. Dr. S. Jagannathan, sir, the forum is for you, sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Only 1 minute, sir. Participants are requested to mute their audio and not presenting their talk and pin speakers' presentations. All the queries can be shared in the chat box only, which will be later discussed in the query round. Thank you, sir. The forum is for you, sir.
Okay. My slide is visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Once again, good afternoon to all. And also, I thanks to the entire team from Dr. MGR Medical Education Research, especially Dr. Senthil Raja. So I am going to speak about today's conceptualization and vaccine. This is my topic today. And this is, you can see that vaccine is the first slide. You can see that the three different type of images. You can see that images, it's related to vaccinology. First image, you are seeing that that image is called as what do you call it, a Louis Pasteur. That Louis Pasteur, he was the first person.
Sir, excuse me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please, ma'am. Hello. 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 What happened?
Sir, we will proceed, sir.
Okay. And also, we can see that, what do you call it, it's a Louis Pasteur in the corner slide. So he was a person, because of him, that vaccine was subjected. That means is developed as well as established for rabies in 1885. in previous year, 10 years back, the great man, Edward Jenner, he was a person, he was in the development of smallpox vaccine and successfully in that area. And the next, the Pasteur Institute, because of himself, Louis Pasteur himself, around 24 Pasteur Institute was started entire the world. India is having 2 Pasteur Institute. It was started in 1907. That name is Pasteur of Southern India, especially for the production of vaccine against the rabies. So this is about, and also you can see that our building, it's a structure of rabies viruses. So rabies virus is a structure of bullet-shaped viruses. That's why our building was constructed and as a model of vaccination. I'm moving to the next slide. Okay. So overall presentation about these slides, whether you can get introduction about vaccine and ingredient of vaccine and types of vaccine preventable diseases and the facts about vaccination, universal immunization program, and also vaccination pregnancy, children, adults, and also how the vaccines are development and various phases, along with why the failure was happened. This kind of thing also you can get from after the presentation. Vaccine, it is a biological preparation. It can be administered through the various routes, such as injection or inhalation or oral, which able to stimulate immunity against an infectious agent. Usually, it contains a harmless variant of the pathogen, either it's been killed or attenuated microorganism, or it's been laboratory generated altered form of its toxin, or one of its surface marker, either it is an G protein or L protein, M protein. What the proteins there is able to cause a ability of antibodies that also used as a vaccine component, and also ability of that vaccine. It can be ability to living being towards to resist and protect itself against harmful effects, often offending microorganism or a toxin. That means it's a immunity. The efficiency of the immune system lies in its ability towards recognize foreign invaders without causing harms of the host or own cell and tissues. That means if we are going for the vaccinator, that vaccine, it is going to develop antibodies against our vaccine, but it cannot destroy our cells and tissues. And the next is vaccines act by allowing the immune system to recognize and memorize the harmful viruses or bacteria or their toxin. Booster doses. Actually, booster dose of the vaccine boosts the memory of the immune system and invading to fight against the diseases. That means the booster doses, it's going to disease. For example, if you're going for vaccination on the day of 0, or immediately you may going for vaccination on the 24th day or 28th day or after 9th day, like that. So that kind of vaccine, okay, that kind of vaccine means, so once on the 0 day, you have the development of antibodies. After the booster dose, it's going for enhancement and much more antibodies. So that is a booster dose is more important in the vaccination. But only few vaccine did not have did not need the booster doses. Okay, here. So there are both these things. And the next is some of the more fact about vaccine. In that fact, the major contribution that vaccine have made saving countless lives around the world. That means countless lives. That means, so here, a lot of people, there's an infinity, it's a lot of people who have survived because of this vaccine. And next is, okay. Next one. Okay. There are around 27 constitutive agents against which diseases are available, and many more agents are targeted towards the development of vaccine. So why I mentioned the 27, it is already developed, and it is a market, and also it was approved by the regulatory concerns as per WHO. The vaccine not only for preventing infections, some help the body to fight range of illness by activating the immune system to recognize and attack the diseases. That is the again. There's another responsible. And some vaccine ingredients, like the vaccines contain is a tiny fragments or disease-causing organism or the blueprints of making of tiny fragments. So that means a blueprint means either it is a nucleic acid or genetic material, either it is in a DNA or is RNA, and also it contains other ingredients. So that's where we're going to deal now to keep the vaccine in safe as well as effective nature. Each vaccine component serves as a specific purposes. Each vaccine component serves as a specific purposes, and each ingredient is tested during the manufacturing process. Why it is more important? If beyond the limit and it's going to the beyond the particular level, that thing is going to the danger to the host, danger to the person. So that's why it's going for tested and also it's past the safety. That namely is antigen. Antigen means anything, it's a bacteria, viruses, or viral particle or DNA is an antigen. It's able to cause a immunogenicity. Then stabilizer. Stabilizer means vaccine is going to meet in various phases during the liquid phases or freeze drying phases, or it is in powder formed phases, or it is going for ice from minus 80-degree phases. So during the various phases of the vaccine, there is a final bulk or final lot is going for keep the antigenicity, keep the protein in as such condition without lose their specific activity to avoid the conglomeration, to avoid the specificity. That's why we had it with the stabilizer. That means a human albumin mostly used as a stabilizer protein. And next is a surfactants. The surfactants it used regularly for the liquid vaccine. Why it is important? Surfactant means that inner vial going for filling in a vaccine there. Sometimes the inner vial also it is going to contact the final bulk. That's a product is going to contact into the vials. Sometimes it may be happen to the inside there is a chances of the biofilm formation, and also some unwanted material is going to stick that. So to avoid that, we're going for added with the surfactants, liquid vaccine. And next is a preservative. So a preservative means it keep the vaccine in to avoid the contamination, to avoid the deterioration, to avoid the malfunctioning, like thiomersal. For that, up to this thing, and also the thiomersal. That means the preservative. It's also going for tested in a during production aspects, as well after that production. There are also once again reconfirmed in the quality control department. And the next is adjuvant. The adjuvant. The adjuvant, it is going for elicit an immune response. It enhances the immune response, like aluminum hydroxide or M15 or Murel, and different kind of adjuvant is there. But adjuvant, it is going for enhancement purpose. It is not causing antigenicity. It is not causing the immunogenicity, but it is having the enhancement of the, especially for the immunoglobulin. For example, it is a IgM, and the next is a and the next is a what I call 1 minute. And the next is a diluent. So this diluent means it's especially for the this doses means in a freeze-dried vaccine. So generally two type of vaccine. One is a liquid and is a freeze-dried vaccine. So liquid vaccine has a lesser stability period, but freeze-dried vaccine more than a 2 years stability period. So that kind of liquid vaccine, we are going to going for diluted with appropriate diluent. Either it is in a bottle for injection or it is in a 54 millimolar sodium chloride. So that particular diluent only we are going to dilute the vaccine. So these are the main ingredient of the vaccine. Now I'm moving to the types of vaccine. So first type is a live LAV, live attenuated vaccine. Here it was altered or it's a weakened form of the microorganism. That's a pathogenic organism which lacks virulence but retains the ability to create immunity against the diseases. So that means the virulence is nothing but it's called as a virulent. It is able to cause the pathogenicity. That means a lack of virulence but retain the immunogenicity. For example, the vaccine against measles, mumps, rubella, like a MMR vaccine, and also the vaccine against the chickenpox, the varicella vaccine, and another is a oral polio vaccine. These are the LAV, live attenuated vaccine. Next, I'm moving to the inactivated vaccine. The live organism are killed and inactivated and used as a vaccine, they are usually heat stable and do not need exact temperature of storage. For example, it may be inactive to the heat, like particular temperature, or inactive to the particular chemical like formaldehyde, glutaraldehyde, and also human and also beta propylactone. So different type of inactivating agents we can use detoxification, that is inactivation of the vaccine material, protein material, like rabies vaccine also. These are the comes under inactivated vaccine type. And next, some of the vaccines are toxide, especially for the bacterial. Some of the bacteria, it can able to cause a toxin. Toxin also virulent. So that is able to, that is the leads to the toxigenicity. That's going for vaccine, toxin is going for disease causing. Some kind of toxin, we are going to render it inactive by chemical or as a physical alteration to be used as a vaccine. For example, the tetanus vaccine or the diphtheria vaccine. These are the toxide-based vaccine. And next is a new concept vaccine, that is a subunit, recombinant, polysaccharide, and conjugate vaccine. These are produced by employing more modern technologies by purifying and isolating the active components of the microorganism which produce immunity but not disease. So why I put each and every slide for that not containing as a virulent, that not containing toxin, that not containing the disease-causing mechanisms can only contain the immunity disease. So that is a concept vaccine. So for example, this can have hepatitis B as well as human papillomaviral vaccine. Next, so going for the vaccination. So vaccine or an effective intervention, it reducing the mortality caused by the highly infectious diseases. So by immunization, 2.3 million deaths are prevented by every year. 2.3 million deaths prevented. And around 27 vaccines or it is in available now. And the next is a vaccination coverage. Here, 80% of the vaccination is the remaining constant for the entire vaccination of the world. And the next is 1.5 million children for every year could be saved by increasing immunization globally. So 1.5 million. So these are the statistics. And a few more statistics I have. One is the vaccination is one of the most beneficial and cost-effective measures we can adopt to protect ourselves from potentially fatal disease. Vaccination is one of the most beneficial and also cost-effective. Cost-effective means it can be easily afforded by the it can be easily afforded by the common man. So that's why government going to give the vaccine to the free of cost. So cost-effective measures we can adopt to protect ourselves from potentially fatal diseases. And also, every year up to 4.5 million children's lives are saved by the immunization by World Health Organization. And also, vaccination is a proven and one of the most cost-effective child survival interventions. All countries in the world have an immunization program to deliver selected vaccines to the targeted beneficiaries. Targeted beneficiary means, okay, one is the children's, kids, and mothers. So UIP. So UIP means Universal Immunization Program. This comes from Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Previously, it's called as a EP, Expanded Program for Immunization. Why each and every country having their own immunization program? Because so all the countries in the global, it was differentiated based on the geographical nature. Some of the country having some disease going to outbreak there. Some disease it will be in pandemic, it is endemic in the particular country. So based on the disease outbreak, based on the disease mortality rate, based on the disease morbidity, so that country is having their own immunization program. In India, also we have the program that is called as a UIP. Okay. This entire program is going to focusing only on the pregnant woman for the to avoid the neonatal death to the newborn babies and infants and children who are at a high risk of diseases that can be easily preventable with the vaccine. That is a vaccine preventable diseases. In other statistics, it is from the Institute of Health and Institute of Health from Government of India. This is from Global Burden of Diseases. While taking is a tuberculosis, it started at, from that more than 7 lakh, and during 2016 it is reduced from the 35,000. And hepatitis also, it is in a higher in range. Now it's only 49,000. Like meningococcal is 32,000, and whooping cough also is a 9,890 only. That is caused by about hepatitis, and tetanus is only 6,911, and hemophilus influenza, and zero in yellow fever. So yellow fever D vaccine also there. So why these statistics I shown to you? So based on vaccination, so those disease it is a caused much more of threatening to us. That kind of disease like measles, mumps, rubella, hemophilus influenza, and yellow fever, diphtheria. So that diseases is fully is a coming down. It's not an eradicated. Only the two diseases are eradicated in India. One is smallpox, another one is polio. Okay. So do vaccination in a pregnancy. So here, as advised by UIP, Universal Immunization Program, foot-forth of the Government of India, as advised by UIP, the following vaccination should be administered to ever pregnant female in the country. For example, TT1, TT2, booster. And also, why the pregnant mother needed the TT doses. That means that every year, the month of January, every 5th and 7th month, the pregnant mother go for vaccination, because to avoid the neonatal tetanus. Neonatal tetanus is a constitutes Clostridium tetani. It can be easily spread through the spore. That spore, if a baby going to born in a hospital, this babies, the umbilical cord going to cut, for example, umbilical going to cut in its scissor. But if it is sterilized, but the gram-negative rods that is in Clostridium tetani spores, it cannot be easily destroyed. So that also, if going to enter to the fetus, it's causing the neonatal death. But if vaccinate the newborn baby or any person, it need a minimum of 7 days to 14 days to the development and maturation of antibodies. So in the meantime, the baby is going to die. To avoid that, the baby is going for vaccinated during the infant level, during his mother pregnancy. So on the 5 and 7 month, what vaccine they got mother, there is a chances to the development of antibodies and against specific against Clostridium tetanus toxoid, but it is leads to that antibody is going to transfer to whom? The transfer to the mother, transfer to the baby. So that antibody will accrue the baby if the baby going to meet any this kind of accident through the Clostridium tetani. So that tetany going for neutralized by they got a antibodies. So that's why mothers are going for taken for a tetanus toxin. And this is another scenario. This is about some of the infants and children, starting with BCG, hepatitis B, OPV, 1VP2, pentavalent, rotavirus, IPV, measles, JE, vitamin A. So only few vaccines are in oral. One is polio, and another one is rotovaccines, and the other vaccine like to BCG to prevent mycobacterial tuberculosis infection, and also childbirth immunization, and also hemophilus influenza, KIB, and hepatitis B, like pentavalent rotaviruses and diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus. So these kind of diseases, so everything covered under a UIP, a Universal Immunization Program, as per the Government of India. Okay, that is for infant and children. And other concept also there, not in India, in some of the developed nation. That is concept called as adult vaccination. The vaccination is not only meant for kids. In fact, there are specific ages in your adult life when the need for immunization arises. All over the world, millions of adults fall seriously ill and get hospitalized for the diseases that could be easily prevented by the vaccine, like flu. The need for vaccination does not go away with age, and regular vaccine for adults help boost the efficiency of the childhood vaccine, aid immunity for the newer comorbidities. What does mean by comorbidities? It means a person having the booster doses, or a person having the a person having the any pressure and kidney based problem. So that also making to the thing. So that also, you are facing with some of the person doing the vaccination, they'll get concurrence with their doctors for the COVID vaccination also. So that's the comorbidities and provide protection against the disease when immunity is suppressed. Okay. And a few more. What are the adult vaccination? One is a TDAP. So what do you call it? Is it tetanus, diphtheria. AP means acellular pertussis vaccine. And the next is a measles, mumps, rubella. Next is a varicella vaccine. It's against the chickenpox. And next is herpes zoster vaccine, or shingles vaccine. And next is human papilloma viral vaccine. And next is the pneumococcal pneumonia vaccine, and hepatitis A and B, and a meningococcal vaccine, and influenza A vaccine. So these are some few vaccines for this thing. Okay. Next, okay, what are the possible side effects during the vaccination? So I divided into two. It is going for divided into one is a mild and serious side effects. So mild side effects are mostly common, like soreness, swelling on injection site, redness at the injection site, fever, skin rashes. Okay, you have something. Why the swelling on the redness was happened on injection site? Is because the vaccines are stored in +4 degree temperature. When it's going for the vaccination on that injection point, our body is maintaining regular 37 degree temperature. Just imagine it's a 4 degree of temperature. So for injected directly to the immediately there, that 4 degree material is going to adapt on a particular, it needs some time. So based on that, it have some adaptation, optimization inside our body. It leads to the fever because our body having the defense mechanism. If anything foreign antigen enter to our body, our defense mechanism going to that is by invading the system. That's why it's going to making a fever. That's only few days. And some of the other serious side effects also there. One is allergic reaction and the seizures. So these are some serious side effects. It depends on the person. And the next, I'm going for the vaccine, type of vaccine, and the vaccination. Now I'm moving to the vaccine development. Wait, what is the vaccine? How it's going for development? Actually, two different techniques there. One is the empirical vaccine technique. Empirical means depends upon their own thought or already covered, already previously published these things. That is called as an empirical vaccine technique. One is a variolation and another killed organism, like a live attenuated polysaccharide based vaccine and cell culture vaccine for that. Generally, it is a viral based. That is the empirical vaccine. And the other thing is a modern vaccine technique, like is a glycoconjugate vaccine, recombinant DNA vaccine, reverse vaccinology vaccine, structural vaccinology based on the structure, and also adjuvant based vaccinology and liposome and a nanoparticle. Here, glycoconjugate means so that glycoprotein of the particular microbes depends. It will be vary from the strain to strain. So various strain from the particular microbes is going for combined. It's called as a conjugated. So the conjugated vaccine is that. And the next is a recombinant DNA vaccine. That recombinant DNA vaccine means insertion of the foreign DNA for production of antibodies. And next is a reverse vaccinology. So because of reverse vaccinology, we got the vaccine within 1.5 years for the COVID-19. Because for the traditional vaccine, it will take a long time for the development. But reverse vaccinology, we can shut down the duration period using with bioinformatics tools. And this is a structural vaccinology. The structural vaccinology based on the structure, like is a protein or glycoprotein, that kind of structure based. And adjuvant is using with the M59 various kind of adjuvant. That means a less amount of antigen and a more amount of adjuvant. It means it enhancement is more. And also liposome is a travel vaccines going for capsulated, that's going for targeted. That also same concept of nanoparticles. That is comes under a modern vaccine technique. Okay. Why? The vaccine development take much more time. Influenza, we identified it 1938, 2004 only we got a good vaccine. Smallpox, we does not know where it was, when it was happened. In 1949, there's a successful development of the smallpox. Like malaria, we identified 1880. Still, there is no good vaccine. It means it is. It is not in 100% efficacy. It is not in. It should be good means it should be in 100% efficacy and the potency and the safety aspect. Still, there is no proper vaccine against malaria, and also some other malaria drug also available. So now we are managing. Like tuberculosis, we have only one vaccine. It's a BCG, and there is no proper vaccine against TB. Typhoid fever, like we developed at 1989, and meningitis we developed 1981. Like this is pertussis. Whooping cough, we identified 1906, 1948. We got very good vaccine. 1907, we identified one disease that's called dengue fever, dengue hemorrhagic fever. So still the vaccine is not up to the market. But in 2015, there is a vaccine was developed that is called as a dengue bacteria. There was a US, that was what do you call it? It is in published. That was approved by the US FDA. Sometimes what happened means that dengue bacteria, they are used with only single child. There is 4 different serotypes are there. That single serotype based vaccine, it is not giving the much more immunogenicity, much more immunoprotect against the other serotypes. So that's just going forward. That is a waste. That is lose their efficacy. So that's why making a vaccine of dengue, it's a 4 different serotypes combined and making a vaccine. There's a cocktail dengue vaccines more going on now. Researcher. Next is a polio. This is eradicated. The vaccine was available in the market at 1955, and Zika 1947 identified. Still no vaccine against that. Chickenpox also we got vaccine 1995, and the measles we had in 1953. Within a short period, we got a good vaccine against measles, and combined with mumps rubella. Like 1960, some mononucleus. But still, there is no vaccine. Roto, we identified and developed a vaccine in 2006. In 1976, we got the one disease that is a Ebola. 2020, we got the good vaccine against Ebola. Okay, here, that's the vaccine development. Now, what are the various phases involved during the vaccine development? One is the PCT, in vivo, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. PCT means if that is when establishment of vaccine candidate. So why I mentioned a vaccine candidate, that is not a vaccine, that is a vaccine candidate. Various type of vaccine candidates there. So if that vaccine candidate is going to successful of the phase 4, then only it is called as a vaccine. So during the PCT, all the desired effects were tested in vitro laboratory conditions. And also we need that vaccine should be in a consistently. Consistent means the same kind of result should be happen, should be occurred, should be retrieved during the various trial batch 1, 2, 3, 4. After successful of PCT, moving to that in vivo studies with animals, here only we are focusing on the immunogenicity. That means our desired immune response, and also it can protect the animal from the diseases while moving for the challenges. And here also we are ensured the relatively free of offside effects. So then moving to the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So phase 1, we are taking with only less than 100 healthy volunteers. That healthy volunteer means they should not have any kind of comorbidity, any kind of diseases or anything. So that kind of healthy volunteers only we are going to select that. So this phase only we are escalating the doses. Escalating of the doses means it is a 0.5 ml or 1 ml or 1.5 ml. That is a or multi or various booster type. So during this period, we are collecting the sample. Okay, collecting the sample, that blood sample going for assessment of immunogenicity. What we obtain from that animal results, same kind of research should be assessment. That is the immunogenicity assessment in a phase 1. Now I'm moving to the phase 2. In the phase 2, also there are 100 plus volunteers, but here the difference is intended based on the age, based on the disease. So if phase 1 is a healthy volunteers, phase 2 means a disease-based person. The disease-based person also we can identify. Here only we are the place bio. Place bio means only solution or liquid we are taking, making of the vaccine. That solution going to inject to that this healthy volunteers. We are observing the interphysiochemical parameters along with the vaccine. And next in this space, we are focusing on the additional safety and efficacy testing. Efficacy means effective the doses. Once going for vaccination of the person, there is development of antibodies, there is immunogenicity. After immunogenicity, I'm going for challenging with the viruses or bacteria, or pathogenic bacteria. There's going for challenging. It should not, the animal should not going to die because developed antibodies is going to neutralize that. So that kind of studies will focus on the phase 2. That is called the efficacy testing. And also along with immunogenicity and to capture the immune response against that. And moving to the phase 3, here we need 100K volunteers, expand the safety databases. Here only we need to expand the safety databases. Safety database means the name of the person, gender, varies from what kind of comorbidity he is having, and also how much of antibodies is taken, when they're going for vaccinated and both doses when, and also how he is responded, he got any side effects also there, what kind of side effects, and so these are the vital signs. Everything we have checked in here, they are produced in the database system. Because depends upon that database only, we are moving for the marketing and the marketplace. And phase 4 is a post-marketing surveillance. That means post-marketing means that is going for vaccinator and also marketer. We have some feedback form. So for the detection of the adverse effect and to assess the long-term efficiency. So these are the various phases in a vaccine trial. One is preclinical animal studies, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. Okay, why the vaccine development taken much more time? Less than 1/10 of vaccine candidate to achieve the licensure. That means what about 9 vaccine going to failure for the various reasons. Why is high failure? Due to the unpredictability of the biological organism needed to produce a vaccine, because the uncertainty to how the human's immune system will process and react to the vaccine antigen. So each and every person having their own immune mechanism, only they are differ from the only 0.5 to 1%. But 99 or 99.5 percentage, that immune system is going to focus, it's going to complement the vaccine. That is unpredictable. For example, some of the vaccine candidate may produce appropriate level of immune response, but induce important means highly immunogenic is there, highly potent is there, but it is in side effects means that also going to failure. And another kind of vaccine, it may be safe. It will be safe and it is sterile and everything, but it is ineffective. There is no antigenicity, there is no immunogenicity. That also leads to the failure. Okay, that based on the failure, what are the different mechanisms involved during the failure rate? What is the evasion mechanism? All microbes deploy evasion mechanism, interfere effective immune response. But in the effective response, for many microbes, it is not clear that the immune response provide effective protection. The next is a limited range. A given vaccine tends to be an effective only against the individual serovirus of pathogen species, although some species have 100 serovirus. Okay, already I told about dengue vaccine. And that's not, this is not immunizing. For some pathogens, even exposure to the disease does not confer active immunity. And rapid evaluation. Rapid evaluation node a need for that development of vaccine against a particular rapidly evolving pathogen. Such HIV and even COVID also. Now we have COVID. COVID is there, and also what do you call it? Is a COVID Delta is there. So various kind of vaccines are reverted. That means is that they genetically change the this. There's a rapid evolution, and also exacerbation of the diseases. Vaccines of certain disease type against the pathogen can actually exacerbate disease when it occurs. This is another point. Another is the cause of disease. Live vaccine retain at least some potential for causing the disease. It is especially true with regard immunodepressed individual. For example, live polio vaccine. So the live polio vaccine is going for vaccinate the person. If the person having the immunodepressed individual, that means the comorbid have, and also suppressed person there. That kind of person also, the vaccine it is not be working properly. This leads to the vaccine reverted diseases. And the next is a cost benefit problem. Successful vaccine delivery, it is not always economically justifiable, because for the vaccine development, successful vaccine development, it like minimum 15 to 18 years. Okay. Now we are moving to the what are the techniques involved in a vaccine development. One minute. What are the techniques involved in a vaccine development? One is a gene technique. Vaccines are currently produced by the gene technique. Instead of using virus or a bacterium, we can use a gene. It's a single gene. Usually, it's a surface glycopro to the viruses. It can be exposed in a foreign host by cloning mechanization. That means the expression vectors are used to make a large amount of antigen to be used as a vectors. Most used vectors for expression of bacteria, E. coli, yeast, baculoviruses, these are some expression vectors. And next, the process induces the virus vector to produce an antigen. So vector means it's a foreign material. So our gene inside that one, it is induced for the produce antigen, which is then purified. The purified antigen is combined with adjuvant. It's called as a safe and effective vaccine. For example, HPV, human papillomavirus vaccine, that is very effective in preventing cervical cancer vaccine. And hepatitis B also the same type of recombination. Okay, that kind of recombination or gene cloning, we need 3 T's. One is transduction, transfection, and transformation. The transfection technique means the foreign DNA introduced to the cell by a viral vector, what we have in the COVID. And also, for example, bacteriophage infected bacterial cells, and also describe the introduction of recombinant viral vector into the target cells. And it's a transfection, a post introduction of a small molecules such as DNA, RNA into the eukaryotic cells. Common transfection methods include electroporation, calcium phosphate, and gene and microinjection. So this leads to as a transfection. That means infection through the transfer. Duction through the transfer. Duction means is holes, and there's a formation. Information through the transfer. There's a transformation. Information means it's a genetic material. DNA uptake the bacterial cells from the environment. Recombinant plasmid DNA can also be introduced into the competent bacterial cells to take an extracellular DNA from the environment. Now, it's how to construct the recombinant attenuated viruses. So first we can isolation of the pathogenic viruses, then moving to the suitable vector like condition, then going for isolation of virulence gene. So virulence gene means it is going to cause a virulence factor, it's a pathogenicity. So particular isolation, after the isolation, that particular gene going for the deleted or mutated or the virulent gene. A resulted virus, it's called as a viable immunogenic virulent vaccine candidate. Now you clear now. So isolation of the pathogenic viruses, they're going for cloning. It's a receptor binding protein here. This is a broncho is a virulent and a capsid protein change. So this further going for cloning. And also it's going for deletion. This thing is going for mutated virulent genes and the deleted virulent gene. The resultant is a virus is a viable immunogenic and immunopotent. So these are the technique towards the construction of recombinant attenuated viruses. Again, the for the vaccine production. Next is a recombinant vaccine. It's a subunit. That means a subunit is one that only uses the very specific parts that these subunits of a virus or bacterium that the immune system needs to recognize. It does not contain the whole microbe or use a safe virus or vector. The subunits may be proteins or sugars. Most of the vaccine on the childhood schedule are submit vaccine protecting people from the diseases such as whooping cough, tetanus, diphtheria, and meningococcal. So meningitis. So here, these are the disease vaccines are against the subunit. So only uses the specific part of the for the subunit. Specific part means it's able to going to bind to the host like protein or in what do you call it, glycoprotein or any surface protein is going to attach on the host that is called as subunit vaccines. Now I'm going to the recombinant, how the recombinant vaccines are produced that. So here, the hepatitis B viruses, we are taking the genetic material, so DNA or RNA, and also there is an antigen producing gene, the gene I cut the gene, that one, after that the restricted endonucleases. So recombinant DNA is there. So simultaneously, I'm going for some bacterial DNA. For the transformation purpose, we cut the plasmid DNA, recombinant DNA. So I'm again going to the recombinant yeast cell. Why I'm going to yeast cell? That is the expression. So and also it will take sometimes and also going for expression of the protein. So we need only the protein. What protein we need? Hepatitis B secreted antigen we need. So that is antigen produced in the fermentation tank. So as a fermentation tank, there's a recombinant yeast multiplying and producing antigen in a fermentation tank. We are going for the extraction and the purification and inactivation and the final formulation that is called as a hepatitis B vaccine. This is a recombinant hepatitis B vaccine construction. And another is a subunit vaccine production. One is a isolation of the viruses, extraction of DNA, as well as desired surface DNA. In the same time, we are moving to the taken for the non-pathogenic vaccinoviruses. The non-pathogenic vaccinoviruses means it is a non-pathogenic. It also like a carry. It is a vector molecule. The vaccine DNA extraction and also going for restriction digestion by the cleaving, because that is an open frame is going for our inserted with things further. So it's after the ligation, the RE digested, the restriction digested vaccine DNA, it contain our viral DNA where we are isolated. Once isolated, we are moving for the transformation. Transformation with a suitable host. Why we need a suitable host? That means it can be able to secrete the protein, what protein we need, what from that particular gene, what protein, it leads to that secretion, and then going for upstream process. Upstream means it's going for enhancement of the bacterial culture in a fermenter. Then moving to the downstream, the culture harvested and concentrated, inactivation, and then going for fill finish and meet the regularity leads to the vaccine. And the next is it's some example. The herpes simplex viruses. The herpes simplexes is moving to the DNA is extracted. The extracted DNA, it is for the herpes simplex is there. So here, the gene isolated, the gene splicing, the herpes simplex protein gene. Simultaneously, we have selection of the vaccine Copox viruses that vaccinate DNA, again, what I mentioned earlier. So going for combine the fragment, that is going for complex engineered vaccine viruses with surface like herpes simplex is intact to the human body. There is a development of antibodies to the directed against the herpes simplex's viral coat or made. So these are the recombinant DNA using with the transfection as well as transformation method. And next, nucleic acid vaccine is a DNA. So nucleic acid vaccine just uses as a section of genetic material. There's a blueprint, that provides the instruction for a specific protein, not in a whole microbes. DNA is first turned into the mRNA. This is a transcription process, which is then used as the blueprint by a specific protein transcription process. And the next, the nucleic acid vaccine, it delivers a specific set of instructions to our cells, either as a DNA or mRNA, for them to make this specific protein that we want our immune system to recognize and respond to it. The DNA vaccines are the vaccine which contain DNA that codes for specific protein antigen from a pathogen. The DNA is injected into the cells, uses the DNA to synthesize the proteins because these proteins are recognized as a foreign. When they are processed by the host cell, and displayed on the surfaces, the immune system is altered and triggers the immune response. And here's the nucleic acid. So genetic approach nucleic acid uses the genetic material of the specific things. And either it's a DNA or this is a DNA-based vaccine production, like nucleic acid-based vaccine production is a genetic material of that. Thanks. Next is a viral vector. So here, viral vector based either is a replicating viral vector, as a weakened vector, or non-replicating is a highly dissect. That means Ebola vaccine also produced in 2020 using with this thing. And the coronavirus spike protein based, this is also now a lot of work was going on. And the next is a Johnson Johnson group. They're working in using with adenovirus vaccine. So it is a replicating, non-replicating based vaccine productions, like the particular spike protein is isolated to inactive form, again with the peptide is moving to the virus replicates. These are the things there. So this is about virus replicate and other things. Okay, now moving to the another concept. This is VLP. It means a virus-like particle vaccine. So this virus-like particle means we can the virus is a like particle. It's a virion. It is a DA particle. It is not causing the what I call the pathogenicity. It can be able to cause only the immunogenicity. Here, this entire virus going for extraction of virions is only responsible for the immunogenicity. That virions, they're going for PCR. Why we are amplification means we want to identify the specific protein, specific gene. So they identify the specific gene based on the constant sequences, then going for amplified. So ligated using with the expression vector. It for again transform it to the eukaryotic cell, insect cells, then finally purifying the virus-like particle. This is going for mixed with that adjuvant. There's aluminum phosphate gel or human albumin, different kind of adjuvant. So that is called as a VLP-based vaccine. So only one disease vaccine was successfully commercialized. That is called as a human papilloma vaccine. Okay. Now up to you got the idea about the vaccine and the vaccine technique. Moving to the vaccine production. Here the vaccine production, I give with some examples of what our institute is doing the production activity in long back. So I went for details about the rabies diseases. So here the rabies diseases, it's a zoonotic. So coming July 6th also World Zoonosis Day. So zoonotic diseases that is transmitted from animal to human being caused by the viruses. That is called as a rabies viruses. It's a group of Lissa virus genus and also within the family of Rhabdoviridae. How is virus going for transmitter? The virus is transmitted in the saliva of rabid animal. What is contained? Saliva. The saliva contains rabies viruses. It is not directly go to that. It's going for infiltration. Virus later. Infiltration means it's going for open things in the infiltration that virus particle going to enter is that of the rabid animal. What is the rabid animal? Rabies infected animal. It is called as a rabid animal. How it was virus going to enter by the scratches or direct exposure of mucosal surfaces to saliva from an infected animal, for example, bites. It is 100% fatality and it is a hit preventable. Most commonly, it's a 95% in a dogs and some of them 4% in a monkeys, donkeys, horses, cows, buffaloes, goats, sheep, and pigs. Occasionally, is a less than 1% wild animals like mongoose, jackal, foxes, camels, and elephants. So most predominantly by the animals, dogs. Okay. I saw some figures as rabbits animals like furious dog and paralytic rabbits and rabbit raccoons. So these are some animals. You can see the color of the saliva and other things, how it is going to easily catch the people through the biting. Okay. How the virus were transmitted. Here. So dog is there. Okay. Some of the person they are attended, some of the student, other thing, those who are attended here, they have a lot of pet dogs. And also they have some experience before they got dog bite. Case of that. Dog bite history maybe happened that. So during that dog bite history, after then they went to the hospital. The doctor advised that watch the dog for minimum 7 days or 10 days. So then only you can confirm you are not having the rabies symptom, rabies diseases. Why doctor was advised going for 10 days now? Because the rabies is going to transmit to the dog going to die. Okay. So is there any clue or any ideas there to identify my dog having rabies or not? Yes, I'll give a clue. Based on the color development. So color on the dog saliva, under the nature, under the viscosity. If a dog saliva having that white color and highly watery, it means nil amount of virus particle present in the dog saliva. If that saliva it be in more viscosity and pale yellow color, That means 50% of the saliva containing the virus particle. If the same saliva would be in pale brownish color, it leads to that 100% is called the salivation. That is a virus particle. So what contains this virus particle? That is a rabies virus. So it's a bullet-shaped virus. That's why our past instead of having that 4 dooms, it is in a rabies virus structure. Here having the different kind of proteins there. One is a structural and a non-structural protein. The structural proteins like glycoprotein, lipid, matrix protein, the ribonucleoprotein, RNA, various proteins are involved in this thing here. And how it is transmitted. As a transmission, it's bound to the virus inoculation, that is the infiltration here. So once the virus inoculated, it is going to searching for the binding with the neurotransmitter, like acetylcholine receptor or dopamine. Once the binding that virus is going to the moving towards the spinal cord. So once this virus travels within the axons in a peripheral nerves, viral introcode the first transport. Once it's reached there, so on that replication in the motor neurons of the spinal cord and local dorsal root ganglia and rapid ascent to the brain. So now it's going for inside the brain. Entire brain function, in fact, neurons and neuronal dysfunction is going to happen. So the centrifugal spread along nerves in like the salivary gland, skin, cornea, and other glands. This is centrifugal spread. That means it's going to spread the entire area of that thing. And this means the virus cannot infiltrate the skins. Once the virus reaches the brain, it further replicates, resulting in a presentation like a clinical sign. What are the signs there? Hydrophobia, photophobia, aerophobia, and spasm. Everything look like something is called a dog-like structure, dog-like behavior. Why the persons are behave dog-like? Because if viruses enter, that means virus enter the brain. Okay, what is the main function of brain? Brain main function is the to control the entire system. If brain is not properly functioning, okay, if brain is not properly functioning, that means they could not able to give the signals to the motor neurons. They could not able to walk. So the particular person he could not able to walk is moving by his 4 legs, like dog. And the second is the eyes was controlled by cone and rod cells. They could not get a very good proper signals for the color differentiation as well as that words identification, number identification leads to the photophobia. Like here, that also you could not able to hearing, herophobia, and near we have that esophagus capacity, esophagus system at the entering of our digestive tract. So in that esophagus, there is a food material. What we are taking in a buccal cavity is moving there to go for the transfer system. If there is a signal from the brain, because that system is made up of striated muscles, a contraction and relaxation. It's a fully contracted. So there is no signal from the brain. There is no relaxation was happen. That means they could not able to swallow the food, able to transfer the food. That means it leads to the hydrophobia, swallow the food. It leads to the what do you call it? Is in a spasm. And also sharing is an organ to get the signal from brain and making of a sound and other things. If there is no proper signal means it leads to the what do you call it? Making, if you want making some sound, if you want making something, if you're going to asking something, it is outcome sound is look like as a barking like dog. So these are the character going to happen if a person having the dog bite, it's not properly treated, it's not properly underwent any treatment there. So here, so there's hydrophobia, photophobia, everything happen. How can we control? By the if a person having dog bite, going for I'll give some first aid tool, washing the wounds with water. Some might be having some questions. Whether water can remove the viruses? Yes, absolutely. For rabies viruses only, because once the infiltrated rabies virus into their body, is going to searching for the neurotransmitter, acetylcholine receptor dopamine. So in the dopamine, it is going to binding with the dopamine acetylcholine receptor with the rabies virus only through the electrostatic interaction, highly weak bond. So that weak bond, it will be in only less amount. So we are going to wash the wound with plenty of water with highly portable. That highly portable, that binding of viruses is going for chelate. It is cut that one. So what again is the virus going to wash out? Next, we are moving to the washing with wound with soap. It is a detergent. Either that detergent they have in sodium or potassium hydroxide. That sodium and potassium hydroxide, if it is having that capacity to digest the lipid. Already I told in my earlier slide, the rabbits are having the lipid envelope. That lipid envelope, it's going for digestion. That next we are moving for the what do you call it? Is in Dettol or antiseptic cream, digest the entire things. We're moving for the special injection for that thing. Okay. So any differentiation between dog bite cases? Okay. Okay. Any dog bite? Yes. If a person having bite in this area, or this is below the knee, it is called as a type 1. Above the knee and below the neck, type 2. Near the face is a type 3. Because transfer of the viruses toward the brain. If it's going to bite, it was in below the knee, it will take minimum 6 to 4 months nature. But near the hand is going for only in 3 months. But near the face, it like within 7 days. Then it close to the brain. So this kind of type 3 patient, they're needed. Nowadays, they're modified with any open window also is a type 3. So for the vaccination, it leads to the development of antibodies take 7 to 14 days. But virus reached within 7 days means there is no use of vaccines. So that's why that kind of person, they're going to having the passive immunization means already secreted antibodies from that animal, so human being, that antibody is going to treat the person. There's a passive immunization until the person he can able to development of antibodies like a active immunization. So that is a first aid about rabies. Now I'm moving to the vaccine production. So here it's a vaccine production. It will take 2 different phases. One is upstream and one is a downstream process. Upstream process cells. Any kind of viruses, it need a cells, okay, for growing. It need a live cells. So the cells will be a cell seed strain that's used with some media, cell culture media and buffers and everything. And also some surfaces, right? There's a plastic bottle or it's a roller bottle or it is in a microcarrier bead or it's a glass bottle, because a lot of cell line using is a anchorage dependent cell line. For that anchorage dependent cell line is going for attach on the surfaces, utilize the media, is going for multiplication, and the conformation leads to the monolayer. That monolayer cell line is going for the infection of viruses. Vaccine seed virus. After the infection, we got the clarification through the 0.45 micrometer. After the clarification, it leads to the concentration, because that 200 liter of material, for example, 200 of material, it is not only containing rabies virus particle and also other unwanted material also there, like 195 liter. The 195 liter going for concentration by the process called as tangential flow filtration. During tangential flow filtration, those who are based on the molecular weight is going for collector. So around 5 liter material going for inactivation of the virulence factor, virulence gene. So after the inactivation, it's going for centrifugation or purification for the removal of the host cellular DNA, host cellular protein. Here we are using the host cellular as a virus cell line. That also causing the tumor industry. So we want remove by the chromatography system. So during the chromatography, we are collecting the various kind of eluted fractions. That fraction is containing salt. That is a sodium chloride. If any kind of protein is mingled with the sodium chloride, leads to the specific activity, lose the specific activity, and also conglomeration, and there's a precipitation going to happen. Avoid that. The salt also removed by the cross-flow filtration. Next, the formulation. They're going for regulatory approval release. This is a vaccine production process. Here, it's a fermentation, like that is a pictorial representation. Fermentation during here, and this is continuous centrifugation, then depth filtration, again the chromatography purification, again the clarified membrane filtration, formulation fill. So these are the vaccine production view. We'll get much more clear in this coming slide. It's the whole rabies virus production. That means it can the whole COVID vaccine production. Or any kind of viruses we can imply with these techniques. So already told, cell culture media reagents monomer virus cell line. So propagation of viral substrate. So virus propagation, selection of the suitable viral seed and fixed viral seed. Okay, is a media. So this cell culture media is the monomer cell line. So is the viruses, these are rabies viruses going for infection in a roller culture in or is a microcarrier beach culture. So here we are collected the viral harvest here. So collected viral harvest to meet the in-process quality attributes. In-process means during the production process, we want to check that our viral titer, uh, and what it calls the pH, and also what it contain, if it contain any unwanted material, everything checked in a IPQC testing. That single viral load is going for concentration using with this system, which is called as single viral load. It's a concentration mechanism. So here, this system concentration based on that tangential flow filtration. In the tangential flow filtration, going for filtration, so remaining 5 liter material is collected. The collected material further moving for the IPQC, in-process quality control testing, for to check the vaccine. To check the vaccine, it is in a to check the constant material, to check that how much amount of virus titer or virus particle and presence, whether it's highly potent or highly titrated. So once completed, moving to that suitable inactivation. The suitable inactivation with airborneness, the animals entering the airbornences. So next, maybe the purification is there. This kind of chromatography system. Either it is an affinity-based chromatography, we have selected the fraction, a fraction selection, so we are moving the fraction by the quality control test to meet the safety and the immunization of this thing. Then going for formulation, already told is additive stabilizer. Then going for filling in a filling machines. Under vacuum condition is going for sealed, properly sealed that. Then going for random sampling to the QC people. Quality control people also reanalyzed our vaccine safety, efficacy, potency. If our vaccine fulfills the entire criteria as per the Indian pharmacopoeia or regulatory concern, so that's taken of the vaccine. That vaccine is sent to the our national regulatory, like central laboratory was located Katsoli. Random sampling we send along with our QCD results. There also, that particular lab also, the reanalyzed our vaccine safety, efficacy, potency, what results we obtain with our patients load. They're going for compare that, whether it's going for any deviation. So they are done that each every test we did 3 times. That means the concordant results. So based on their concern, we get a releasing certificate that vaccine is going for supplied through the entire nation. So here, the further a typical flow diagram for the whole rabies vaccine production. Same virocell 8 is American culture collection. It's a master seed. It's a master seed. I'm going for working seed here because every time working seed only taking for the model formation. Here the rabies is a PV11. This PV11 means is a Pasteur virus 11 is a seed virus strain that was originally developed by Louis Pasteur. We obtained from the Institute of Pasteur. We have still used the virus isolates. That virus isolates we kept as a liquid storage for 1 half. There is a primary mother seed. That mother seed, there is a master seed. There is a master seed we kept in a prime. Second master is prepared. From the second we are prepared a working seed and secondary working seed. That monolith virus are going for infected. After the infection, we are collected the viral harvest in every 72 hours. That collected viral harvest called as a pool, is a single viral harvest full. Then going for concentration, in activation, affinity purification, the selection of the fraction, and removal of the salt, next a clarification by 0.2 to 0.4 micrometer, the purified rabies proteins are ready for formulation of the freeze-dried freeze-dried or liquid vaccine. So this is about overall view of the vaccine production here. For the same kind of technique or same kind of methodology we can applicable in a unique kind of viruses here. This thing and. Thank you. And also, I'm going to conclude now. It's my last slide, maybe. Science brings man nearer to God by Louis Pasteur. And also, I also think here's Louis Pasteur holding something. So here you can zoom that on. He is holding that's a glass bell jar. Inside the bell jar, it contained that spinal cord. There is a red colored spinal cord towards the development of vaccine against rabies. Rabies infected rabbit animal spinal cord. This is the first vaccine. Louis Pasteur, and then thank you. I am moving to that next session. Questions. Any question?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your enlightened and wonderful talk on the theme of vaccine and its predictions. It's a really interesting session, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, I have some question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that means Senthil Rajapandi.
Yes,
Sir, currently, what are the attenuation technique? How COVID virus is attenuated? That's a good question, sir. Actually, attenuation is depends upon the virus platform, whether it's a heat inactivations or a deletion of the virulent gene or deletion of their infective titer vir gene. So that kind of attenuation is vary, and still there is no in COVID-19 for the COVID aspect there is no attenuated vaccine was approved till date. In India, also having two companies are doing this kind of attenuation, still not yet approved. They are doing the deletion of that means applying with reverse deletion of the deletion of the virgin something. And what are the okay good, sir? What are the general precautions to be followed in the rabies vaccine preparation? That person should be vaccinated. Those who are in handling that rabies virus, that is a contagious virus, no? And now it's adopted. And also, each and every year, that person antibodies we are going to check about whether it's having above the antibody level or their health status, other things. That is for rabies vaccine. But generally, any kind of vaccine production, the people should be in healthy, and also if in our production area also, microbiology department also, we are not allowed any person having the common cold or sneezing and that kind of things we are allowed into the laboratory, because the entire production area we have that AHO system, air handling unit system. That system, if you're going for circulated, going for recirculated, that kind of mechanism was there. So everything we are monitored, starting with the temperature, other things. So that's why, and also person also having they have to inform us like that. And also we should have wear the entire PPE, personal protection equipment for the virus handling, virus harvesting, virus concentration, animal testing, everything. So a lot of good laboratory practices that we should adhere with that, and also personal safety is important. Okay, I thought I may be clear to
Yes,
Dr. Senthil Raja Adipandi.
yes, sir.
Okay. Was there any other question, ma'am?
This one.
Any questions?
May I request Mr. Sai Rahul, sir, to take over the Boris round with our esteemed speaker?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you so much, sir, for your elaborate explanation on vaccine and vaccine productions.
Thank you, sir.
There are a few more questions that has been asked, sir. Shall I ask the queries?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. There is a question from Dhanalakshmi. So, what are the technical problems you have been faced during the vaccine production?
Technical problem means one is during vaccine processing, as it's not a problem. Already we are stabilized and although we have that standard operating procedure, but during the development of vaccine, it's unpredictable. We could not get proper results. We cannot get correct results, concurrent results during that time. And also for maximum, we are facing the problem in that animal testing. For the animal testing, if I am a technician, what means I am going to test it in my animal to the intraperitoneal. I am injected the vaccine to the material, say 1 in 10 dilution like that as an inoculator. But I'll get some amount of ED, the effective doses analysis TCAD 50. But another person going to same kind of technique use that it is going to beyond the limit. Okay, that's a biological, same animal, same material, but process is different. So that's why each and every person should be qualified. That means qualify their work, not in that qualification, qualify in the particular work. And also it's a validation. We are taking for the validation of the people, how the analyst doing the work, and also we'll get the precision type of things. That is for animal testing. And another thing is a purification aspects. During the purification, sometimes it may be some of the protein going for leaking. Usually we are going to follow the pre-check method. In the pre-check, we are check about column integrity, column wide volume, column everything, and buffer, data preparation, everything. Check that. Sometimes, if that bottle and vials, everything they are kept there, it may be in surfactants type of problem also there. So that's why each and every stage we have the IPQC testing to check the traceability to avoid this kind of things in future. And also we are following the standard operating procedures. A lot of problems happen, but we should have overcome. So each and every stage we are going for some mitigation plan also there, sir. So that is this thing. Good. Another question, sir?
No, sir, that's all. That's all from the queries, sir. Thank you so much for answering our queries.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Another question.
Also on behalf of Faculty of Pharmacy,
Okay.
please accept our e-certificate, sir. Present principal, sir.
Okay. Other any other doubt?
Sir, please kindly accept our e-certificate.
Okay. What I do this? No?
Sir?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes. And now it's time to.
Sai Raghu, sir, please continue the vote of thanks section also, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Sure. It's my time to deliver the vote of thanks. On behalf of Faculty of Pharmacy, it's my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks. First and foremost, we extend our heartful gratitude to our management, founder Chancellor Dr. ACS Shanmugam sir, Honorable President Dr. ACS Arun Kumar sir, Honorable Secretary Thiru A. Ravikumar sir, under whose benevolence all our efforts are taking shape. And our sincere thanks to our Vice Chancellor Dr. S. Gita Lakshmina for constant support and guidance. And I extend my sincere thanks and heartfelt gratitude to Dr. S. Jagannathan sir for the elaborate explanation and very informative information about the vaccine, conceptualization, and production. Thank you, sir, to grace this occasion with your valuable talk. And last but not least, I would like to extend our sincere thanks to our beloved principal, sir, for his guidance and encouragement in all our efforts. I thank all the participants, students, and faculty members present for this national webinar. Thank you all. And the participants are requested to fill their feedback form, which has been posted in the chat box to avail their e-certificate. The form will be active till 10 p.m. tonight. So please kindly fill the feedback. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you once again. Thanks to the entire team from the pharmacy department and the management and other things. So thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Stay safe and go for the vaccination. We can eradicate the COVID-19 very soon. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Okay. Indil Raj, sir. Thank you. Shall I leave, ma'am?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable and information talk. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Participants are requested to complete the feedback form.